All right, and welcome back to the channel. I hope everybody's doing all right today. So thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. So today we're going to do some wheel restoration 101. I don't know which video this is falling in, but this is Krispy Kreme project series build type deal. Front two wheels suffered a little bit of discoloring during the engine fire, and there's a lot of caked on plastic from the fender liners that dripped on the wheel. I already got one done. I wasn't going to video this, but I'll just give you guys a quick how-to and how I repaint and restore wheels. I know a lot of people just take them, have them sandblasted, repowder coated, but I am not a powder coated fan. You guys that are powder coater fanboys or girls, that's fine. Nothing against that, but I've had stuff powder coated in the past, and I've put certain degreasers or whatever on that, and it just changes colors, it discolors it, and it ruins it basically. Paint doesn't do that. You get something on it, you wash it off, and you're good to go. So with that being said, I'll show you this one front rim here, what it looks like. So right now it kind of looks like ass, but we're gonna make it look better. So let's check it out real quick. All right, so right off, this is the back side. You can see we got a lot of melted on plastic. So what I'm gonna use on that is just your handy dandy little straight screwdriver, or over here, just your putty scraper. That works the best. So I'm gonna scrape all this off, get this little plastic that's melted on there, and get this all sanded down. As you see, we got this one over here already cleaned up, sanded up. Looks like new money, ready for primer. This one here, not so much. We've got a lot of paint peeling on the edges. We don't have any, we got a little bit of road rash right in here. I normally hit that with 80 grit and bust that down and then re-round it. That other wheel was really bad. This one here is not so bad. But yeah, now the centers up in here, I will use these little wire wheels on a drill to clean the center back up to get all that nastiness out here. Now the bad part, these little holes here, you just got to kind of hand jam those and get those the best you can, get those feathered out. But as you can see, this is an original white rim primer, not much primer. I know they used to like some red primer under there, but all in all, that wheel was in better shape than the other one. This one is, the other wheel was in really bad shape around the edge as far as curb rash goes. But so I'll go ahead, I'll get this backside cleaned off, looking better, show you what that looks like once I get it sanded down, and go from there. So if you want to watch a little wheel refresh on Project Krispy Kreme, we're going to do the front wheels first, get those in primer. I'll probably paint all four of them at the same time. That way I know they're the same color and the paint comes out of the same can. I only bought 1 quart of paint for the front, and that can's running a little low. I don't want to paint the fronts and then do the backs and color be just a little bit off. So we'll do all 4 at once. But we'll get them in primer at least today, and show you what it looks like once we got them in primer. So if you're watching this, stay in, and we'll show you what it looks like once we get further along. All right, so I went ahead and set the camera up. I'll show you a little bit of work in progress on this rim. We'll start with the big scraper. I already started some of this, knocked out some of that plastic. Sorry if the camera's shaking over there a little bit. That's kind of is what it is, I guess. But anyway, we do the best we can. So this was just melted on plastic off the wheel liner. So just a metal file, chisel, what do you want to call it? And basically just, it pops right off. Just plastic, if you can see that coming off. And then under that, you just get discolored paint pretty much. So, but yeah, so that's pretty much it for chiseling the plastic off. I'll do up in here in the drum, or the barrel itself, and get the sander out, and take some paint thinner first, get that cleaned up, and then get the sander out, sand it down, and get it cleaned up. Show you what that looks like when it's done. It's basically just handstand DA with 220, clean it up, get it down, feather edge everything, and make it look better, so we can get some primer on it. But that's kind of it. You see all that plastic kind of came off of that. It's back down to the aluminum. Now I'll take paint thinner. Actually, let's do that real quick. Got some rags over here. Got some thinner on a rag. You can see how easy. Right in here, we've got more plastic on the inside of this barrel. Hit that with a scraper and it comes right off. And you're just down to kind of discolored paint at that point. So you do that on the whole rim, at least right where it was discolored from the fire, and then I'll clean the whole thing up really well, sand it down, flip it over, and do the other side. So that's kind of it. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. I don't think you want to watch the camera shake the whole time I'm doing this. So you want to watch this, just kind of some quick wheel refresh, stay with us. We'll get it knocked out. All right, so I got a little bit of better camera setup over there. Got an old air compressor tank and a can of Bondo and some tape and a pod. Good camera setup. So I got the plastic all off of this. I got the rim cleaned up on the inside with paint thinner, clean up really nice. I still have some discoloration, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sand it down. First I'm gonna do the lip. It's got a couple little nicks. There's one here and a couple around. And the edges on the back side are really, the paint's coming off anyway. So my son left this little handy dandy electric sander. So I'm gonna try that and see how it works. That way my air compressor's not running while I'm trying to video. So if you don't want to watch this, you guys can kind of fast forward through until I get to certain stages. But right now I'm just gonna focus on doing the edge, getting the barrel cleaned up, and feather edging the lip out and taking any nicks I can get out of the lip of that. So this sander's not too loud. Depends on what RPM you got it set on. We'll see how it works. I got it on 2,000 right now. Now the cool thing about this sander, now he used it while he was home on his stuff. I've never used anything like this. I'm kind of old fat guy, old school stuff. There's little holes for a little bag that goes on there, but I'm not creating that much dust. And the pad is really squishy, so it's going to get down like in the barrel when I do it. It's probably a lot better than using a DA sander for an air compressor. So it might work better. We'll see. I got it set on like 3,000. There's an RPM thing over here. Right now I'm just doing the lip. Just trying to get the old paint knocked off of it. Now, I always do the back sides of the lip as well. Knock the old paint off. As you can see, the center of this barrel is bare aluminum. This right here, I already knocked this all down with a wire wheel off camera. But the center of this barrel is unpainted, so I'm just going to leave it that way. And then when I prime it, I'll put some masking tape around this edge and just prime basically this lip of the rim the way it was from Saleen. So right now, I'm just going to knock the paint off the barrel right here to this edge of this wheel. Paint primer on these rims all. It's actually super thin. I've got most of that edge knocked down. I've got maybe another inch or two to go. Alright, so the lip's cut down really well. I'm going to change the grit down to 220 and get all this discoloration off this wheel paint that's back here. Yeah. Hey Brandon, thanks for the sandpaper and the sander. Hell yeah. Let's see here. That's 320. Looking for some 220. 240. Looks like that's about what we're going to go with, is some 240. 240 is going to be about it, I think. I was using 220 on the DA. I used my real DA on the first rim earlier today. I was just trying to see how well these little electric sanders work. So you see that discoloration came out really well. Let's get back down to that factory white. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause the camera. I know you guys don't want to watch all this. I'm going to get this barrel sanded down, and then we'll flip the rim over and do the face side. So if you're watching Wheel Rehab, stick with us. All right. So we got the barrel extremely nice and cleaned up all the way around. I did go old school on the DA on the lip a little bit and some on the inside. This electric does work pretty good. However, on this barrel up in here, not so good. All right, so if you're watching Wheel Rehab, I got the barrel cleaned up really nice. The electric does work pretty good. However, I did use old school air DA on it a little bit around the edge to knock some of the bigger imperfections out of that lip. Now I'm going to knock all the surface rust down in the center, and I'm using my wire wheel on a drill to clean up this center hub real quick and just show you how easy that is. So on the center hub, I'm using just a green roll lock with a green Scotch pad on the center hub to knock all that surface rust off of that aluminum. Now on the other wheel, it looked like it was painted white where the wheel bolts up as well. Yep, see that white paint underneath that surface rust? So we'll be painting that center drum as well. Now when you use one of these, I use a green one. You can use the burgundy one, but it takes off a lot more material. If you're using a burgundy, just remember you're trying to get it down to aluminum. Don't try to take the aluminum itself off. You're just trying to get rid of this surface rust and old paint. The vast majority of all that's off. It's just down nice to bare aluminum. You got a few spots here that you can hit. I'm going to take a piece of 80 grit and sand that down as well. On the center part, I got probably a 3-inch wire wheel on a drill, or wire brush on a drill. So the 3-incher takes down the immediate opening down to aluminum. You see how nice that knocked that down real quick. And now I'm going to take probably a 2-inch to get the center part cleaned up. Like I said, this is cordless, nothing fancy. Oh, cheap part but freight ones there. Or it might be Walmart, can't remember. I feel like I got something on my neck. Oh, Spidey! Woo! I hate spiders. I thought I could feel him. He's gonna die. Dead spider? This is a good spider. Hopefully he didn't bite me. I thought I felt him crawling around my neck. Now if you can see down in there or not, I got it now nice bare aluminum. You want to do that whole barrel like that to get all that corrosion out of there. All right, looking pretty good. Alright, so finished product. You see down in that drum, nice and shiny bare aluminum. Now I'll take a piece of 80 grit, hand jam it a little bit, get that center drill cleaned up as best you can. Knock the rest of that out of there. Now right now I'm just using a wire wheel on the bolt pattern of the hub and try to clean that up the face. Some of y'all probably freaking out about the spider. I think he was just a little jumper. I should have just let him go. What's freaking me out a bit though. That looks way better. Got that face cleaned up all really nice, all clear real good. So I'm done with the barrel inside, so I'm gonna flip the wheel over and start it on the face. Like I said, this face is in pretty good shape. Basically it's gonna be feathering all this down. I don't have any curb rash on. There's a little bit on this rim right here. I don't know how, there's a little bit right in here. I don't know how well you can see it. I'll go ahead and cut that down real quick. Again, I'm going to use old school DA with a piece of 80 to cut that down. Smooth that up like it was never there. Alright, so that's really all it was to cutting that out. Nice and smooth. Very minor. Now, when you see wheels like this, it's just got a little bit of curb rash. When you guys take them to these wheel shops, they basically deflate your tire, put a plastic bag under there, feather the edge out, and spray some paint on it. And they're charging you guys anywhere from 140 to probably 200 a wheel to fix it. So they're super easy to fix. It's just time consuming. And you got to have a tire machine, so that helps a little bit too. But yeah, anybody can fix a rim yourself as long as it's not got a big chunk or a big bend in it. Those require a professional, which I'm far from professional. YouTube professional, I guess. How's that work? So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead, feather edge this whole wheel down, get a hand sand and hand jammed, and show you guys what it looks like. I'm basically gonna hit it with 220. Show you real quick. I've got to turn my air compressor on over there. I'm running a little low. I would use the electric one, but no offense, it's kind of slow. I like them to cut. I don't have my air compressor turned on right now, so I am running a little low on air. So right now I'm just using 180. Sorry, I thought this was 220. So basically, these look like they were painted back in the day, not undercoated or powder coated. Sorry. I'm just going to feather all this down, take the chips out, and smooth it all up, and epoxy prime. Put one light coat of 2K on it, sand it, and paint it. That's about it. So this just shows some inconsistencies on these wheels. So the first front one doesn't have hardly any primer on it. This wheel has some red. It looks like old lacquer primer. Back in the day, this is lacquer primer. Red lacquer primer. Because these are single stage, they're not clear coat. This is single stage paint. See how I'm just feathering out the chips? That's all I'm going to do with this rim. Reprime it and paint it. I'm not going to go crazy trying to strip it down to bare aluminum. They're really not that bad. They've just got some small chips and this and that and the other. So what I'm going to do, go and get a feather edged off camera, because I'm sure y'all don't want to watch. I'm sure you could fast forward, but this is just wheel rehab 101 for dummies. I'm probably the biggest dummy, but get this one knocked out, get some primer on them, and show you what they look like in primer. All right, folks, so we're got them ready to go. They're prepped down. As you can see the differences. This had like a light gray primer. This has got a red old, looks like lacquer primer underneath the paint. I did tape up where the beads are going to set, so I don't get no primer or paint in that area. But today we're just going to be putting some epoxy primer on it. They're all ready to go. I'm going to flip them over. Epoxy's mixed up. Put one coat on the back. Let it sit for about 20 minutes or so. Flip them over. Put a coat on the front. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. We'll be wearing my respirator today on this. Again, this is just wheel restoration rehab 101 for dummies.
one spot on that wheel over there I didn't get. All right.
The old ball cap on there. So that's pretty much it for wheel rehab 101. So I'm gonna let these sit for about 20 or 30 minutes. I'm gonna flip them over, prime the front. Now once these are cured for a couple days, I'll scuff them down. I'm gonna put one coat of 2K primer on them, so if I got any imperfections in the front, I can smooth them out and make them look, well, look awesome, so to speak. Had a word in mind, but I better not say it. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching this video. If you got any questions or comments, you can hit me up foxjunk73@gmail.com about materials, mask, sander, whatever you got questions about. I'll try to answer it. This is just something gee whiz. I've done a lot of rims over the years. They're a pain in the butt, especially 93 Cobra R rims. They're a pain in the ass. But these here don't seem too bad. Mesh wheels are by far the worst. I did the ones on my coupe. Luckily we had those acetone dipped, and painting them wasn't too bad. If I'd had to hand strip those, I'd have lost my mind, I think. But again, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and keep up with Project Krispy Kreme. Again, we're going to get back on Frankenstein eventually. We're going to get to a point where we're working on both at one time, so that's going to be kind of cool. You got any questions? foxjunk73@gmail.com. Sorry if I keep repeating myself. Just one of those things. Again, remember, it's not just junk, it's Fox Junk. Or SN Junk Dig. Alright, so I'm adding this to the end of the video. I do apologize. Figured, what the hell, I didn't show them the front of the wheels to see what they look like. So, without further ado, I'll show you the fronts real quick. Sorry about that. Alright, so that's what the fronts look like. All redone, fresh primer. Now, just got to get them painted. First, I want to get the back tires taken off, get the rears sanded down and primer just like this, and then get them all painted at the same time. Thanks for watching again. Sorry about that, and please subscribe. Have a good day.